everyone. While I see a number of truly stunning chapeaux being worn, if you could be kind, seated behind you, and remove them for the duration of the panel, it would be greatly appreciated.
Or do you want to go for the
That is smart. Yes, you should have a microphone. There are going to be 3 of us. So we'll put, because Tilly will be joining us shortly. We'll put Tilly on my please. That would be an excellent idea.
I'm loud. I'm sure you'll be able to hear me.
As am I. Do go on, my dear. Tell them about this.
Well, people in Egypt do love their traditional black tea and go-on. That's Turkish coffee, of course. Cockade has its fair share of devotees. Cockade, known as hibiscus tea in English, is often sweetened or honey.
I used to have
Excellent. Some say Cleopatra VII drank it daily, and it is mentioned in the Hebrews papyrus of 1550 BC for its medicinal properties.
Cockade, or roselle, as it is sometimes called, is an herbal infusion rather than a real tea. It's made of the calluses of the hibiscus of the river flower with the outer cover of the bud. It can be served hot or cold or iced. It's most common. I do apologize, but I have no ice. The hibiscus flower in all its variants grow right across the globe. Although this particular cockade is made exclusive with the hibiscus of the river, which grows in Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia.
Traditional medicine practitioners would soak hibiscus saptorifer leaves in water until the liquid turns sour and use it to treat measles. What they do not do. It is generally considered a cooling herb, providing relief during the hot weather, which I know we're all experiencing right now, by increasing the flow of blood to the skin surface and dilating pores through the skin. Chinese medicine suggests that tea made from the calyces of hibiscus saptorifer to treat liver disorders and high blood pressure. Other claims made from hibiscus tea include coughs, increasing urination, and killing bacteria.
But domestication of the hibiscus has been traced to Western Sudan over 6,000 years ago. Now, Sudan is adjacent to the southern end of Upper Egypt, which makes it difficult to determine if the hibiscus of the river is indigenous or imported. What did you learn? Of course, you learned more than what you bring us. Can I get you to stand the microphone, my darling? Because everything you have to say is so important. We say to a couple of hibiscus tea. Sakura is an Egyptian village about 19 miles south of Cairo. It's the ancient necropolis for the early capital of Egypt, which is Memphis. There are numerous pyramids on the site, including the pyramid of Joseph, or the statue, which I've shown you about in other presentations this week. Especially, and not only that, but also several mastabas, which were early stepped burial buildings that predated the pyramids.
Yes, Matilda spent the day among the ruins and, most importantly, in the ancient mummification workshop discovered there. She is being the first woman royal urologist. She must be well and properly educated in all forms of burial.
Oh, the site at Sakura has been a hotbed of discovery of it. Last year, archaeologists discovered 4,000 twigs, in which they found 250 painted sarcophagi, some 150 small statuettes of gods and goddesses. One of the sarcophagi also contained a papyrus, which contained it was a scroll Egyptian Museum in Cairo, the papyrus has been restored. It measures 16 meters, which is approximately 52.5 feet long. The scholars have translated the scroll and have confirmed that the scroll contains spells of the so-called Egyptian Book of the Dead.
I was given the rare opportunity to enter the underground embalming workshop. I was lowered into a shaft 40 feet deep. The workshops, one for human and one for animal mummification, date back to Egypt's 26th dynasty from 664 to 525 BC. The human workshop had 2 stone beds, 7 feet long by 2 feet wide, and the second workshop had 5 smaller stone beds for the mummification of sacred animals. The beds were said to have troughs of gutters around the sides and bottom for the draining of fluids such as liquefied organs.
Ancient Egyptians developed an outstanding ability to protect the human body from decomposition after death. They believed that the decay of the corpse could prevent the deceased from entering the afterlife. Mummification was both a chemical and a ritual process.
From a chemical perspective, the process evolved from the simple and natural preservation. Bodies were discovered to be dissected and preserved and buried in sand, to much more sophisticated procedures using extravasation, removal of the brain, evisceration, and the use of antibacterials, antifungals, barrier materials, and fixatives.
The bodies were anointed with rare oils and spices.
Cinnamon and cassia.
And it would take 70 days. But Herodotus tells us
Misinformation.
Diodorus states that
Incorrectly.
but the ancient
For the past 2 centuries, scientists could only speculate about certain bone ingredients mentioned in the ancient text. But this workshop, discovered in 2016 by late Egyptian scientist Ramadan Singh and excavated by Egyptologist Stephen Buckley and his cohorts, has provided remains of the very ingredients used in the mummification process. Buckley and his team recovered 121 beakers and bowls inscribed with the text, providing instructions on how the continents were to be used, such as to put on his head, and the names of other specific substances. They selected 9 beakers and 22 red bowls with the most readable labels. They also analyzed 4 residue samples, taken from 2 red bowls, a cup, and a cylindrical vessel found in 2 burial chambers, and a hope establishing a link between the 2.
how did they do it?
Partial gas chromatograms, and gas chromatography, and spectrometry.
Well, considering the workshops are located in the cemetery, I'm sure there are masses of specters everywhere.
I think that seems to engage me. But what do they find?
Mostly juniper cypress, more specifically the byproducts, in the forms of essential oil or tar, or fragrant oil too, were identified in 21 vessels. Cedar oil or tar is the second most commonly detected product in the Sahara vessels. They also identified elevated at least 15 vessels, and the rest of the veracity, particularly that of the Canary, most likely from the Asian rainforest.
Well, that explains Herodotus' misinformation and his confusion. Another branch of the Mycerian family is Camaphore, which uses the resin of myrrh, Oswilla, which is frankincense, and Rosera, which is the resin referred to as copper, the other 2 branches of the Mycerian family. So it only makes sense.
Resin from the pistachio tree was identified in 5 vessels, and resin known as damar was detected in 1 red bowl. It comes from a family of trees that grew in the Philippines.
The Philippines! The Egyptian trade network must have been vast. What did they use besides oils?
Animal fat, plant oils. In 4 vessels they found olive oil. 1 beaker may contain castor oil, possibly mixed with other oils.
Oh, and these ones, are powerful antibacterial, antimicrobial,
And water resistant. The cassia resin, enemy, dema, and beeswax all boast antimicrobial, antifungal, or odor control properties.
The unit was found in 2 vessels recovered from burial chambers. Its chemical composition suggests cedar, oil, a tar, a juniper, a cypress tar, and animal fat. So Amity is not a myrrh or any single ingredient. Sepit was usually assumed to be one of the 7 sacred oils used for vomit, or the opening of the mouth ritual. But the 2 vessels labeled sepit contained a juniper, a cypress tar, mixed with animal fats. The Egyptologists and chemists concluded that the Saqqara embalmers used sepit as a scented, fat-based salve containing plant oils, although they note that its composition may have evolved over time.
But this is all so fascinating. And the work of the archaeologists, Egyptologists, and scientists who do the chemical analysis, they've advanced our knowledge of mummification significantly.
Oh, not just our knowledge of the mummification process, but the Egyptian trade routes and the cultures they interacted with.
Yes, Owen, the identification of all these exotic oils and resins have provided evidence of the extensive trade networks that supplied the ancient Egyptian embalmers with substances required for mummification. Pistachio and cornfield products from the Mediterranean, bitumen from the Dead Sea, and Damar and elemi from the tropical forest regions.
Also, and if we learned anything from Herodotus and Theodorus, it is that there's always more to learn. This is certainly not an exhaustive list of the ingredients of mummification. I'm certain there's more to discover, more to learn, and more to broaden our understanding of the mummification process. While the mass spectra may have ruled out perhaps other species, their intelligence will be revealed, and this new pilot is being translated as we speak in a significant addition to the so-called Book of the Dead in Yale. Now this pilot will be presented at the opening of the Grand Egyptian Museum in Cairo at the end of this year or early next year.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to the translations. I have greater confidence in the translators than that mass they don't seem to have detected a single spectre, much less any great masses of them.
I don't think that means what you think it is. I'm delighted that you were able to experience Saqqara, my dear. But we must move forward in your studies.
Oh, yes. The Egyptians were not the only civilization to practice mummification of their dead. Not even the first.
The Chinchorro also of the Atacama Desert, present-day Chile and Peru, are among the earliest cultures known to have performed artificial mummification as early as 5,000 to 6,000 BCE.
And at the same time, the Egyptians were beginning to develop their mummification techniques approximately 5,000 years ago. The Spanish were developing their own techniques. Remarkably well-preserved human bones have been found in the Dominican burial at La Valera in Osorno, Spain, carefully covered by pulverized cinnabar, which is vermilion. It's a red form of mercury sulfur.
But only the bones were preserved. Mummification never really caught on in Europe.
Not among general population, but among the elite. It was a very popular practice in the Middle Ages.
Practiced but not perfected, the Egyptians refined their methods, improved their blends of oils, fats, and wax to maximize their effectiveness. They must have kept extensive records of their processes. The European apothecaries seem to have chosen a good number of their herbs and chemical applications for the poetic attributes.
We don't know how the Egyptians passed the knowledge on, most likely through priesthood. We know that the so-called Books of the Dead, or more accurately, the Book of Coming Forth by Day. Love that. That we have the buried of the dead or inscribed on the inside of the sarcophagus was ceremonial rather than practical.
Like our handbook for the newly deceased.
The French and Spanish, however, passed their knowledge down through books. Some of those texts, written between the 13th and 17th centuries, are what Tilly has been studying.
What is the Middle Ages in your study? Minerva, I believe this is where you take the
As we
Since the However, the 13th century, the chemical aspects of more active drug testing at the same time evolved considerably spreads and becomes quite a usual practice among the aristocratic elites.
But as you all know,
Of course, many treatments of bodies in Western Europe from as early as the Roman period, the bodies were not eviscerated in themselves, but merely washed and anointed with fragrant aromatic substances, in which, of course, my sister is very well versed in that.
Tilly! Tell us what you found in your studies.
The preparations are very diverse, but they do share similar properties, and there are very few herbs and resins that appear constantly. The most common mentioned ingredient is myrrh.
Myrrh is an herb to open the gate to the other world, to pass in the aim of going beyond and to soothe the skin.
Myrrh is antibacterial and antioxidant and has been used to treat skin wounds and to keep the skin supple and in the treatment of infections of the mouth.
The second most popular ingredient is aloe.
Aloe is roots the activity from the environment and soothes conflict. It is a protector from strife.
Aloe too is used to treat ailments of the mouth and to keep the skin supple, and it is an antioxidant and antibacterial.
Wormwood was another very popular ingredient, sometimes mixed with herbs and resins, in at least one instance placed in a bundle over the body.
The wormwood is a powerful ingredient in protection spells, especially spells against malevolent spirits.
It can protect you from malevolent earthly creatures as well. This most commonly is to repel fleas, lice, and vermin. It too has antifungal and antimicrobial properties.
Other popular ingredients were storax, and an evergreen member of the myrtle family that grows in Malaysia.
So, like the Egyptians, they were using rare and exotic ingredients.
Not necessarily. While texts list these exotic plants and resins, the testing on actual remains tell a very different story.
The most common material actually found on the bodies were juniper in all its forms, resin, leaf, berry, and branch.
Well, traditionally, it was used in various styles in protective rituals and to eliminate evil spirits.
Again, an antioxidant and antimicrobial.
Also, chamomile, lavender, thyme, marjoram, sage, rosemary, and mint.
Chamomile for renewal and repair, lavender for protection and rest, thyme for strength of body and character, marjoram for love, joy and happiness, sage for immortality, rosemary for remembrance, and mint for protection. And because it smells so refreshing. But it is a dead body. One must tend to the living as well as the dead.
Most of these herbs were chosen for their aromatic qualities, but they have antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral properties as well. It would be interesting to establish if they were really efficient in slowing down the decay process.
Some of the exotic elements that were actually found were cinnamon, clove, and nutmeg. The most popular resins after juniper were myrrh and benzoin.
Cinnamon is for luck and prosperity, but is also antimicrobial and has antioxidant properties.
Clove is the same.
Nutmeg is for rest, prosperity, and luck, especially like in court cases.
Benzoin is an antimicrobial, antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, and astringent. It is known for purification and emotional balance, and it is said to ease sadness, grief, and anger.
Many of these herbs and oils were meant to ease the heartache of the living and preserve the memory as well as the body of the deceased. Their symbolic significance was for the grieving family and friends.
Totally, I'm so proud of you. You have become such a wonderful, educated young woman. Now, as a linguist, you will find that your science, for all its advances that we enjoy, will not reanimate the bodies of our beloved dear departed. But your heart can at least confer a sense of dignity in their passing and a comfort to those who mourn, who someday you'll look into it. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, then I have a question for you. How do you like the cupcake?
It was amazing. It's wonderful. It's about 6 cups of water with 3/4 of a cup of the hibiscus. You bring the water and about 1/4 of a cup to a 1/2 cup of honey to a boil. And then once it starts boiling, then you let it sit for approximately, I think it's 30 minutes. And then you strain it. And after you strain it, you add anywhere from a tablespoon to your own taste of lime juice. And then it is most often served over ice with slices of lime and a bit of mint. But if you want the recipe, I think that's also on YouTube. So delighted that you come to each of you. And those of you who were here last year, as you know, our eldest son, Eric, was abroad, but he and his vocabulary and notion is such a rare and troubling class that they have determined that their honeymoon would be taken by an equatorial cruise where they will go to several islands and tropical places to see rare and tropical flowers. I am sure that their journey will be entirely wonderful there.
And trouble-free.
Trouble.
No danger whatsoever.
No danger in going around there. To unknown islands. So it should be fine. It should be fine. They'll be fine. Anything else? Who's more if you like? Or if you'd like to take pictures of this, I'll bring this down here.
Other than that,